Assalamu alaikum everyone. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are live with another 360 transformational journey with an amazing graduate of ours. Today we have a guest जो बहुत स्पेशल हैं. हर गेस्ट हमारा स्पेशल होता है, हर ग्रेजुएट हमारा स्पेशल होता है और इनकी जर्नी भी बहुत स्पेशल है. मैं इनको तकरीबन 2 साल से जानती हूँ. इनफॉर्मल वे में बहुत हमारी अच्छी फ्रेंडशिप है, लेकिन आज ये आपको अपनी जर्नी बताएंगी कैसे इनकी 360 ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल जर्नी रही NLP के साथ. So today we have Anusha Somani. She is a master practitioner in Neuro-Linguistic programming, timeline therapy techniques, NLP coaching. Currently she is working with developmental sector. And over to Anusha. थोड़ा सा Anusha से अब बात करते हैं कि उनकी जर्नी कैसी रही और थोड़ा सा Anusha, अस्सलाम वालेकुम, कैसी हैं आप?
वालेकुम सलाम, बिस्मिल्लाह, क्या हाल है?
मैं बिल्कुल ठीक ठाक. अच्छा, अनुषा के साथ मैं थोड़ा सा इनफॉर्मल हो सकती हूँ इस इंटरव्यू के बीच में, क्योंकि थोड़ा सा अगर अपने ऑडियंस को बताया जाए, मेरी और अनुषा की 2 साल पुरानी एक फ्रेंडशिप है. जब अनुषा ने अपना प्रैक्टिशनर किया था फर्स्ट टाइम और वो इस्लामाबाद में आई थी और शी वाज देयर एज अ कोचिंग असिस्टेंट इन वन ऑफ आवर NLP ट्रेनिंग्स और मैं भी वहाँ कोचिंग असिस्टेंट थी. वहाँ से हमारी एक बॉन्डिंग बनी थी. आई नो मोर अबाउट हर, लेकिन आज जो है हमारी ऑडियंस भी जानेंगी आपकी जर्नी. सो ओवर टू यू अनुषा. पहले तो आप थोड़ा सा अपना इंट्रोडक्शन दे दें फॉर आवर ऑडियंस, ताकि वो जान सकें आप क्या करती हैं, आप करंट आपकी जॉब क्या है अपार्ट फ्रॉम बीइंग ए अमेजिंग ट्रेनर, मास्टर प्रैक्टिशनर, आप किस तरह बनी. थोड़ा सा इंट्रोडक्शन अपना दीजिए.
First of all, thank you, Bismillah, and the team of ABNLP for having me here today. Yeah, पहली चीज तो ये तो that's true कि we cannot be formal with each other. So a lot of gupshup and informal conversation will still be having informal conversations, but we'll try to still keep it towards NLP and the purpose that we're here today. In terms of my introduction, of course, you mentioned like I did my master practitioner in December of 2020, and I did my practitioner a bit earlier, so February of 2020. So I took a gap and then master practitioner kiya tha. Right now, I am working with MCW Global. It's a New York-based NGO, and I work as a program manager for Africa program. So we have our affiliates in Africa, and I work with them. And on our Young Leaders program, which is global program. That's what I do, and I'm also the co-founder of Youth Insight, which is a very baby initiative right now. It's basically a platform which advocates for mental health. So we, as part of it, we organize conferences, events, webinars, and all of that sort. So which is another story altogether. That is pretty much my introduction in a nutshell.
That's an impressive one. Okay. So थोड़ा सा आपने ये बताएं कि NLP के बारे में आपको पता कैसे चला? Like कहाँ किसी से सुना, किसी को देखा जिसने NLP किया हुआ था? इंट्रोडक्शन कैसा हुआ NLP के साथ आपका? एंड कैसे डिसाइड किया कि NLP करना चाहिए?
Well, if Ali Salman is listening to this, he'll probably laugh on it, because Ali Salman is, by the way, our project head for Karachi for ABNLP. He's the one who introduced me to NLP. Like, he is the person behind getting me to this. Interestingly, because I was from the training and development sector, I knew Arsalan. I hadn't met him, Kabibi, but I had heard about him a lot. Then a lot of my network, like friends and friends of friends, they were doing NLP, and I was like, yes, suddenly what's happening, right? There's so many people who are becoming NLP, and that's amazing. I mean, I had this curious soul in me, and I was like, you know what? And I'm a personal development junkie, so I wanted to know more about it. Ali Salman introduced me to the entire notion of it, and it's like, why don't you come and enroll yourself into NLP practitioner? We've been stalling this for a while, and finally, I think 2020 February, May, it all happened, and I became part of the NLP practitioner.
Wow.
Yeah, and since then I have attended, I think, 8 practitioners up till now, online, in person. Sorry, okay.
तभी हमारी जो थी फर्स्ट मीटिंग भी हुई थी जब आपने 2020 फरवरी में किया था और आई गेस 1 वीक का गैप था एंड आप इस्लामाबाद में ट्रैवल किया एंड यू एक्चुअली वर्कड एज अ कोचिंग असिस्टेंट इन वन ऑफ आवर ट्रेनिंग्स, प्रैक्टिशनर ट्रेनिंग्स। तो तब हमारा जो है फर्स्ट इंट्रोडक्शन तब हुआ था। तो दैट्स अमेजिंग। अनुषा, here I want to ask you कि जब आपने प्रैक्टिशनर किया, फर्स्ट आपने पहले आप क्योंकि आपने इसको ब्रेक कर दिया था, फर्स्ट आपने प्रैक्टिशनर किया, उसके बाद आपने गैप लिया, देन आपने आगे की जर्नी कंटिन्यू की। तो जब आपने प्रैक्टिशनर किया था, जब हमारी फिजिकल ट्रेनिंग्स होती थी, तब आपके अंदर लाइक आफ्टर डूइंग NLP किस तरह का आपने एक्सपीरियंस आपका रहा फिजिकल ट्रेनिंग का, और क्या आपके अंदर आपने देखा कि आपकी पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट या प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट कैसी हुई, और NLP करने के बाद जो आप एग्जिस्टिंग अपनी जॉब कर रहे थे उसके अंदर आपको किस तरह बेनिफिट हुआ?
That is quite a lot of questions in one. So I'll try to I'll try to
step by step.
Step by step, and bring me back, okay, from this process.
Yes, I will.
So, in terms of NLP, the physical practitioner, because I think I've been one of those fortunate people, we've been through in person, but also like online practice, master practitioner wala or upgrade wala silsila. I think in practitioner, I bonded a lot of with my batchmates, and we've had a very strong connection in terms of bringing together, doing interventions together, learning about stories. To be honest, when I did my practitioner, I was working around the clock. Matlab, I used to be working till 4 a.m. in the morning. Then I would wake up at 7 a.m. because I had my university. I was in the final year. And I would attend my classes, would have my meeting sessions in dopair mein, then sham mein I would come back, and then raat mein kuch hota tha. I used to be back home around 9-10 p.m. Then again would be working. I had become a robot. It's not something to be proud of in that sense. So the thing was that I used to tell this with a lot of pride, but I think we romanticize the work of being workaholic, while undermine the effort, like the amount of stuckness we encounter. I think Arsalan or somebody does mention this, that it's not you're stuck. It's just that the programming that you had in mind, like pehle, it's no longer working. You just need to work on your strategies again, and it needs a rewiring. I think that's exactly what I needed. When I came to practitioner, my sole purpose was to understand what NLP is, and also how I can integrate NLP techniques into my trainings as well. Like, understanding the theory, understanding that I'm a big fan of theory, research, scientific stuff. So I would want to know how is it backed up. That was the intention. I was like, personal development. But when I came to, and I still tell my clients about this story, because I think when I came to NLP practitioner, I realized that there was a baggage that I think we all carry in some ways. For some, it's heavier than others. And there was a baggage that I was carrying with me unknowingly. If I can use the word of saru, I would become like a total saru insan in my life. Okay, I have no idea how others were, working with me in that sense. I had a lot of anger. I was pushing a lot of love away from my life, and a lot of care, knowingly, unknowingly, would just shut out and just be alone and would want that way. And the problematic part was that I thought that was okay. Until I got a wake-up call by Arslan, by the coaching assistant. I was like, no, this is not okay. And that was a lot of, that was a journey. That was a start. And I still say that the breakthrough that NLP helped me to create, I feel it is my responsibility to facilitate that process for others as well. If I can do it, I believe so can others.
आई कैन टोटली रेजोनेट विद द स्टेटमेंट जो आपने अभी बोली है कि हमें पता नहीं होता कि हम कितना इमोशनल बैगेज लेके अब तक चल रहे हैं, ठीक है। सो कभी हमें जस्ट इसको इस तरह ले लिया जाए कि कभी हमें अवेयरनेस ही नहीं हुई अपने पैटर्न्स की, क्योंकि हम आदी हो चुके थे इतने अरसे से एक ही तरह प्रोग्रामिंग हमारी जो माइंड की हुई होती है, हमें लगता है दैट्स एक्चुअली नॉर्मल, ठीक है। और कभी कभी नहीं हुआ होता, या ऑफ कोर्स। So, yes, please, Anusha, if you want to continue.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying that reminded me of, I think we probably have heard it a lot of times when Arslan mentions about this Sareve Ande. I felt like obligated to mention this. It's like
Exactly.
we're carrying Sareve Ande around us. Ab hum
Yeah,
to immune ho gaye कि you know what, it's
yeah,
fine. I have
yeah,
no idea how others bardasht, that or those
yeah,
Sareve Ande ki smell. It's just
yeah.
like you're walking, you're so immune to the smell of it. You don't no longer feel that there is something that
Exactly.
needs to be done about it.
So for us at that time वो सब कुछ नॉर्मल होता है. So even metaphorically speaking कि वो सड़े हुए अंडे is just like a emotional baggage, और हम उसको लेके चलते आ रहे हैं. अब हम उससे used to हो चुके हैं, but somehow that emotional baggage is becoming a hindrance in our personal and professional life. ना काम
Yeah.
ठीक हो पाता है और ना जिंदगी वैसे ठीक चल रही होती है. So working on ourselves is very very much necessary. ठीक है. So continuing इसको आगे करते हुए कि अब प्रैक्टिशनर तो कर लिया अनुषा ने, ठीक है. सो उसके बाद आपने पॉज लिया, ठीक है, और देन कोविड हैपेंड, ठीक है. आई रिमेम्बर लाइक के लास्ट बैच इस्लामाबाद का भी फिजिकल ट्रेनिंग का वही था जिसके अंदर आप थे और मैं थे एज अ कोचिंग असिस्टेंट. एंड देन फॉर इन मार्च सब ट्रेनिंग्स जो होल्ड पे लग गई, कोविड आ गया, लॉकडाउन आ
Yeah.
गया, चीज हम स्टक हो गए घरों में. उस टाइम पे इन मई तो आप हम सबको एक एक उस वक़्त था कि एक दफ़ा एक दोबारा अपॉर्च्युनिटी मिल रही थी और ट्रिपल सर्टिफिकेशन जो है इंट्रोड्यूस हुई. पहले हमारी सिंगल सर्टिफिकेशन
Yeah.
एनएलपी की मिलती थी एंड देन नाउ ट्रिपल सर्टिफिकेशन हमारी इंट्रोड्यूस हुई. उसके अंदर आपने क्यों साइन अप किया? सो आई वांटेड टू नो के व्हाई अनुषा साइंड अप फॉर ट्रिपल सर्टिफिकेशन प्रोग्राम प्रैक्टिशनर लेवल एंड वो भी ऑनलाइन. तो वो थोड़ा सा बताएं.
Wow. Um, why asking why is probably the hardest of the questions to answer. But also, I think before I come to that, if I can, I think all those wondering what I was even doing in Islamabad after 1 week. It's not like
Yeah.
you just end up being a coaching assistant.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so moved by my journey that I felt like the emotional baggage that we were talking about. I felt like, my brother was living in Islamabad at that time, and I was like, you know what, you need to do this. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be there. So I flew to Islamabad on urgent basis, took off and all of it.
Mhm.
Just to be there because I felt so moved. I've ensured that all my family members do NLP, by the way.
Yeah.
So now my entire family is aware of it, which is interesting.
Exactly.
Um,
I guess your brother, your mother, everybody has done it.
yeah,
Mashallah. Yeah,
yeah, true.
great, great.
So in terms of your answer, the question, the upgrade practitioner, I remember when this was introduced, like I was so impressed by the triple, certification, like that process. I was like, you know what, it's gonna add more value. Like, of course, certification, like apni jagah, but the content that was added to it,
Yeah,
I have been through practitioner normally, and then I
yeah.
went through upgrade. I
Mhm.
I was generally very impressed because of the content that was introduced. It
Mhm.
really escalated my skill set to a different level.
Yeah,
Um, it was very much in context of COVID. Online tha, so I could also resonate with coaching online kaise hogi. Now
yeah.
because it was like a different ball game altogether. And I was like,
Mhm.
online coaching kaise ho sakti hai?
Exactly.
Um, and that was a total different ball game altogether, and I was generally very much into it. I was like, wow, this is something that I would want to be part of.
Yeah,
That's exactly why I enrolled, because I
great.
also have a by the way, for those who don't know, I have a fear of missing out and personal development.
Yeah.
Social gatherings and everything, I'm all fine. But in terms of personal development, I have this thing, which is, I believe it's a good thing because it helps me to move further.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I was like, you know what, I have to get hold of this opportunity.
Yeah, of course. And do let us know कि आपकी जर्नी रही कैसी, क्योंकि पहले हमारा जो प्रैक्टिशनर होता था सिंगल सर्टिफिकेशन वो 6 डेज का
हाँ,
होता था, एंड
yeah,
देन उसको जब हम लोगों ने अपग्रेड वर्जन इंट्रोड्यूस करवाया ट्रिपल सर्टिफिकेशन के साथ, तो हमने कंटेंट में भी इन डेप्थ कंटेंट आपको इंट्रोड्यूस करवाया और डेज डिवाइड कर दिए गए और 3 डिफरेंट डोमेन्स में आपको एक्सपर्ट बनाया जा रहा है। 10 डेज की
yeah,
जर्नी है, वो कैसी रही? अभी भी इस क्वेश्चन का मकसद ये है कहने का या करने का कि अभी भी कुछ लोग हमें अप्रोच करते हैं अनुषा, और उनके अभी तक ये होता है कि मे बी हमारे ब्रेक थ्रू ना हो सके ऑनलाइन, हमारी पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट ना हो सके, कोचिंग कैसे हो सकती है ऑनलाइन, दीज आर द मिथ्स जो अभी भी थोड़ी सी हैं
yeah.
लोगों में, एंड आई वांट यू टू क्लियर देम अप, अपना एक्सपीरियंस बताते हुए कि आपने किस तरह इसको ये 10 डेज की जो जर्नी आपकी प्रैक्टिशनर लेवल जो ऑनलाइन की थी वो कैसी रही, कैसे आप प्रैक्टिस करते थे, किस तरह आपका कंटेंट में आपको अच्छा कैसे लगा, कि किस तरह डिफरेंट था, हर चीज थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन करें हमारे ऑडियंस के लिए।
Yeah. I mean, I completely resonate with it. अगर ये आपने मुझसे 1 साल पहले सवाल पूछा होता, I'd be like, हाँ, they're right. I mean,
Yeah.
they're absolutely right, and they are right actually in the model of the world. But also at the same time, I'm thinking that the breakthrough cannot happen अगर आप online करोगे. That's also a limiting belief, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why would we want to restrict our breakthroughs to a laptop or to a physical space? A breakthroughs
Exactly.
can happen while I'm sleeping. Okay,
Yeah.
it can happen. Interesting story. My one of my major breakthroughs in master practitioner happened on the when the master practitioner ended, and it happened when I woke up the next day. The first thing, it had
Oh,
nothing to do with me being online or in person. It just
yeah.
happened.
It just
Um,
happened. Yeah.
and because it's going on, it has nothing to do, but I resonate with what they're saying because I master practitioner मैंने जुलाई में क्यों नहीं किया the last time was
Yeah.
also because I was waiting for in person. I was like, you know what, I cannot be an online person.
Yeah.
Which I need in person experience.
Mhm.
But I realized कि जो the feasibility that I have of working from, on getting online from anywhere and everywhere, I can travel with it. Also, I
Yeah.
can have my flexible working hours with it.
Mhm.
I have like support of breakout rooms, क्योंकि मैंने upgrade में देखा था कि breakout rooms में working with people 101, then
Yeah.
scheduling another call with them 101. It's a beautiful opportunity. आपके पास बहुत limited time होता है when you in person, because then 6 बज जाते हैं and everybody needs to go. But you
Exactly.
can for online आप जल्दी आ सकते हो. The team is there to support you. There's a lot of like I know that you're like now by now amongst graduate you're famous for note taking and sharing it on our WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for those who don't know, Bismillah is amazing at notes taking. And so site पे ना हमेशा हमारे पास WhatsApp group पे notes आ रहे होंगे. I wouldn't want to miss that. I would not get it in person. Okay, so
Yeah.
in person की अपनी opportunity है because you get to see the intervention happening live also. But I
Yeah.
believe once this is over, AL&Co would resume in person or hybrid situation, something of that sort, and everybody who's done it online can come back again, which is
Yeah.
amazing opportunity. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, so for me, every ounce of it was really.
Great.
I mean,
Great.
I had no idea that I would be saying this 1 year down the line.
सेम सेम बहुत से ऐसे लोग होते हैं हमारे पास, ग्रेजुएट्स हैं हमारे जो ऑनलाइन में एनरोल हुए एंड देन अब उनका ये होता है कि यार ऑनलाइन ही करना है, बिकॉज पहले ट्रैवलिंग करनी पड़ती थी, अपने ऑफिस से आपको छुट्टियां लेनी पड़ती थी, 10 डेज की वहां से लीव नहीं मिलती थी, वो बहुत से बेनिफिट्स लोगों को अब हैं, एंड सबसे ज्यादा बड़ा बेनिफिट अनुषा प्लीज करेक्ट मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग, जब कोविड हुआ था तो आई वाज आल्सो टेकिंग क्लाइंट्स, ठीक है। सो पहले होता था 1-on-1 क्लाइंट्स लेने, मेरे घर आ जाते थे, हम कोई ऐसी प्लेस डिसाइड कर लेते थे जहां हमारा कोचिंग सेशन होना होता था। जब कोविड आया, सो बेसिकली मेरे तो स्टॉप लग गया था काम पे, बिकॉज इतना डर होता था कि हम लोग इन पर्सन मिलेंगे तो कहीं कोविड ना हो जाए। मैं भी डरती थी बिकॉज मेरे पेरेंट्स जो हैं उनकी एज ज्यादा है घर पे, तो मुझे उस चीज का भी ख्याल रखना होता था, और हमारे पास ऐसा कोई स्किल नहीं था। तो वो एक स्टॉप लग गया, एंड देन एवरीबडी वाज आस्किंग अरसलान के अरसलान कोई ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटी हमें मिले कि कहीं से हम जो है अपने कोचिंग के जो बिजनेस हम कर रहे हैं या हमारा जो कोचिंग का काम है, हमारे क्लाइंट्स होल्ड पे लगे हुए हैं, हम किस तरह रिज्यूम करें, किस तरह उसको लेके चलें। देन ऑनलाइन की जो अपॉर्चुनिटी थी, अब तो ऐसा है कि आप यहाँ बैठे हुए हो, अब तो वो पहले हम सुनते थे कि वर्ल्ड विल बिकम अ ग्लोबल विलेज, ठीक है, और अब तो वो सच में है कि आप यू हैव जूम, यू हैव एवरी सिंगल थिंग आपके पास अवेलेबल होता है, व्हाट्सएप आपके पास अवेलेबल है, आपने जस्ट एक अपनी मीटिंग डिजाइन करनी है और आप इंटरवेंशंस कर सकते हो। एंड ऑनलाइन इंटरवेंशन सीखने में जो है यू कैन ऑलवेज रेप्लिकेट देम वन, लेकिन वन सीखा हुआ यू कांट रेप्लिकेट थ्रू जूम का सेटिंग से, तो वो टोटली डिफरेंट होती है। दैट्स समथिंग जो मुझे बहुत बेनिफिशियल लगा while I was stuck COVID के टाइम पे, so that was an opportunity for me, and yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think yeah, that is actually very much true. That actually got me thinking, agar, like replication of 101 to Zoom and Zoom to, which is very interesting. And also, I believe I wouldn't like now. I take clients from all over. I have had clients from Russia, from Zambia, from Saudi. They're all diverse, and also from Pakistan, of course.
yeah,
But I wouldn't have gotten it अगर मैं सिर्फ कराची पे restrict कर जाती and I wouldn't have
exactly,
that skill set.
yeah,
That also reminds me, upgrading yourself with time is something that I have learned from Arsalan himself. Like when you now look at his calendar, पूरा साल आपका उनका भरा हुआ होगा for the personal development
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything that you will
It's
be
like
doing, right?
training, yeah, ongoing trainings, and हम हर महीने देख रहे थे एज अ टीम, हम लोग देख रहे होते हैं कि
Yeah.
अरसलान अपनी डेवलपमेंट पे कितना टाइम इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, कितना उनका होता है कि ही कीप्स ऑन अपडेटिंग हिज स्किल्स ताकि वो डिलीवर कर सकें अपने ग्रेजुएट्स को। तो दैट्स एन अमेजिंग थिंग अबाउट अरसलान। सो मूविंग ऑन, ठीक है, जर्नी अब चल रही है, आपने अपग्रेड प्रैक्टिशनर कर लिया, उसके बाद थोड़ा सा गैप लिया, एंड देन यू साइंड अप फॉर मास्टर प्रैक्टिशनर, वो भी ऑनलाइन। सो ऑनलाइन का एक्सपीरियंस तो आपने बता दिया। आई जस्ट वांटेड टू नो कि लेवल 1 प्रैक्टिशनर करने के बाद लेवल 2 करना क्यों जरूरी होता है। सो इसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा हमें ब्रीफ करें कि क्यों जरूरी होता है कि जब आप लेवल 1 कर लेते हो तो आपको लेवल 2 भी करना चाहिए।
I have a I'm not sure how many. I mean, I have a different perspective on this, which I think I was of the opinion. By the way, I had a different perspective. Now I have a similar perspective here, but I think different perspective. Like I was like, let me utilize practitioner first, na, and as a coach, let me work on it. Trust me, Usmala, 8 months past by, I did not do anything. I was
Yeah.
utilizing it on myself massively for my work, but not taking any clients.
Okay.
I also felt, and the day I decided I want to now seriously, consider it, is also because I felt कि वो जो holistic approach है, that would
Yeah.
be when a person has like a wide range of interventions and the resources and in-depth information. When I would have felt like I think there's also a percentage. It's like 40% आपको practitioner cover करता है and 60% which is named as the big guns. जहाँ पे master practitioner अब तो रट गई है
Exactly.
ना सारी
हाँ. Yeah.
so
And seriously, it is a big guns अपना निकालते, क्योंकि कुछ क्लाइंट्स ऐसे होते हैं जो बेसिक आपकी जो इंटरवेंशंस आपने सीखी होती हैं प्रैक्टिशनर लेवल पे, उससे थोड़ा उनको एडवांस वर्क की रिक्वायरमेंट उनकी होती है। सो वहाँ आपकी लेवल 2 बहुत जरूरी हो जाता है। सो यस, कंटिन्यू प्लीज।
Yeah, I mean, while you were talking, it also reminded me of master practitioner. While we were talking about big guns, but seriously, guys, but what we don't literally mean that. It's very inferential, but in terms of this, we really meant understanding the communication style. I wasn't
Yeah,
aware of my meta programs, for example, or my style of communicating, of how I operate. Right, others would know. I work with Arslan on different projects. So Arslan would be picking up on these things, of course. But I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he's like, yeah, I mean, of course, now you don't know, but you will know.
yeah,
Um, and I think it really, advanced my skill set, but also it gives the opportunity to work with medical practitioners as well. I'm not sure how many are aware of it. Like you go through 100 diseases, and like ये वाली searches, and if a client comes up with come to you with with a particular disease, and you're like, you can collaborate with other medical practitioners. I think
exactly.
that is a wonderful opportunity जो कि एक master practitioner का एक leverage होता है, and that is what I mean by holistic approach. You're not only doing it on a surface level. There's a lot of togetherness and collaboration that could happen to ensure that the desired breakthrough for the client is created.
Yeah, and also I want to add here, Anusha, कि practitioner करने के बाद you have limited set of tools and techniques to deal with four clouds that are a negative thinking, negative emotions, limiting beliefs and inner conflicts. तो हमारे पास limited set होता है उस time पे, and जब आपके पास अगर आपने इसको holistic आपने जो बोला कि आपके empowerment के लिए और आपको जिस तरह आप deal कर सकते हो अपने clients को या अपनी अपनी लाइफ में भी एडवांस लेवल पे अपनी अवेयरनेस भी कितनी होती है, और द ब्यूटी ऑफ मास्टर प्रैक्टिशनर इज कि जो आपकी पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट एज लाइक आप पूरे एक साइकिल से गुजरते हो, तो आपके जो कॉन्फ्लिक्टिंग एरियाज और आपकी जो नेगेटिव थिंकिंग, नेगेटिव इमोशंस, हर चीज उसके अंदर रिजॉल्व हो रहे होते हैं, एंड वंस यू आर डन विद इट, जब आपका इमोशनल बैगेज हर चीज जो खत्म हो जाती है, देन यू विल बी रेडी। और यही यही ब्यूटी है हमारी प्रोग्राम की कि आपके ऊपर पहले काम होगा, देन यू विल बी रेडी टू डू वर्क ऑन अदर पीपल। अगर
Absolutely.
अगर हमारे ही कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स जो हैं, हमारे ही नेगेटिव थिंकिंग, हमारे ही नेगेटिव इमोशंस और हमारे जो प्रॉब्लमैटिक एरियाज या कॉन्फ्लिक्टिंग एरियाज रिजॉल्व ना हो, तो हम क्या काम करेंगे किसी के ऊपर? तो वो तो ऐसा
Yeah.
होगा कि वी आर लाइक सिटिंग विद अ पर्सन और वो अपना कोई प्रॉब्लम बता रहा होगा और हमारे वो एरियाज रिजॉल्व नहीं हुए होंगे, तो वी वॉन्ट बी एबल टू वर्क विद दैट पर्सन। सो दैट्स वाई
Yeah.
लेवल 1 एंड लेवल 2 साथ करना बहुत जरूरी है। ग्रेट, ग्रेट।
Yeah.
सो मूविंग
Also, if
ऑन।
I can, sorry, if I can
या
add something
या
here, when you said like working on yourself, I think I mentioned this earlier. So let me just complete the story of master practitioner and the
या
values. वो जो अचानक से क्या मुझे नाजुल हो गया था, that it was like, okay, this is my breakthrough.
This is something informal, हमारी थोड़ी सी discussion हो रही है, and I love it because it's like very, very natural.
Yeah, I think people should also be able to see that side. Um, yeah, in terms of master, I remember like everything was like जब values पे काम होता है, conflict उस
Yeah,
पे, inner conflict पे. We went through the values and everything. I was working, of course, master practitioner. You work with a coach.
yeah,
You're paired up with a coach, and you're working with them. Oh, and you're working with, for them or with them also on their areas as
yeah,
well. Um, while I was doing this, I felt like there's no conflict. Sari values, everything is fine. I think it was a family or relationship, something of that sort. So I had my 6 top core values listed down, or was sorry, I was like, everything's fine. Master practitioner ended. The date ended. I think the next morning I woke up, and the first realization was that I forgot to put love in my values, in
hmm,
family and relation. I forgot the most fundamental, perhaps the most fundamental part in values. And when we were able to save, we realized that the reason as to why I was pushing a lot of love away from my life is also because it was not part of my, values.
values. Yeah,
Hence, the conflict was there. Um,
hmm,
and that was beautiful. I cannot forget the day when it happened, and I was like, this needs to be shared. This is like that was so. I think the breakthrough can happen also later. It's just how
yeah,
we function. Um,
exactly.
So I felt obligated to share that story. I haven't shared that on a public platform yet.
ग्रेट सो वी आर ग्लैड कि हमें ये सुनने को मिला और आपने अपनी साइड ऑफ स्टोरी भी बताई सो मूविंग ऑन अनुषा एज अ ट्रेनर पहले आप एज अ ट्रेनर यू नो यू आर वर्किंग एंड देन आप अब इंटरनेशनल सेक्टर में काम कर रहे हो इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे डील करते हो सो आई वांट टू नो कि एनएलपी करने के बाद यू नो पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट में आपने बहुत अच्छे से हमें बताया कि किस तरह आपने आपकी पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट हुई थ्रू एनएलपी आई जस्ट वांटेड टू नो एज अ ट्रेनर and as a working in a you know developmental sector internationally आपका बहुत आपकी डीलिंग होती है स्टूडेंट्स के साथ डिफरेंट लोगों के साथ तो उसमें आपको किस तरह एनएलपी ने वर्क के अंदर आपके प्रोफेशनल आपकी डेवलपमेंट में किस तरह आपके लिए बेनिफिशियल रही सो पहले आप थोड़ा ट्रेनर एज अ ट्रेनर बता दें एंड देन आप बता दें कि यू नो यू आर ऑल्सो वर्किंग विद इफ आई एम राइट यू आर वर्किंग विद यंग स्टूडेंट्स ठीक है सो आपकी रोज डीलिंग होती है यंग स्टूडेंट्स थ्रू आउट द ग्लोब आपसे आपके साथ इंटरेक्ट करते हैं आपको क्या लगता है कि स्टूडेंट्स को और ट्रेनर्स को क्यों करना चाहिए एनएलपी उनके लिए क्यों बेनिफिशियल होगा
So first segment, the trainer part. I think so. In terms of training, when I recall it, I was training for a good like I think I've been part of training industry for the past 5 years. But then I had reached a threshold where I was not taking any more trainings. I remember I would be called and I was like, you know, I something doesn't resonate with me because I felt everything was so much on the surface level.
Yeah.
There was no depth of what we were talking about, and I didn't feel that my integrity was in place. When I did practitioner, master practitioner, you get a lot of support in terms of not only in terms of content, but up to regularly while you also reading so much. So I think team sends us like books or you have like audio files and a lot of those support, and there's a lot of thinking and brainstorming that happens in terms of content. I think that's really enriched. If you're a person who believes in believes that content is the king, in terms of training, then please, yes, that's how exactly it will help you. Otherwise, you can remain on the surface level, and that's also fine. The second part is on the work stuff. I work with young leaders around. I like to put them like that way. They may not necessarily be students at this moment, but they might have graduated recently. So somewhere around 18 to 26 time frame we're looking at, or 15 to 26. In terms of that, I think it helped me to first. So I was a mentor for a couple of people from different areas, and they had their projects in mental health. And I was able to like work with them. So how would you want to work around this? What are the areas that you would want to focus on? What is mental health? And be able to share some resources. I think being a mentor to those young people was really important and crucial. The second, then I stepped up also. So now I moderate sessions on mental health when we have our conferences and young leaders programs. So I try to incorporate the little that I know because we are learning every day, and work with collaboration with other experts on field. Right now, as a coach, I'm able to. So here I work with Africa programs and the other program. So what we do is like, how can we bring in coaching into perspective? How can we ask questions that would actually instigate thinking? Asking intellectual question or intelligent questions is really important. So I think creating that framework really helps for people to think through. For example, they're coming to a skills development program, like a soft skills program, but that's not it. How do you go about the coaching process and work on your own set of plan? Creating that has been, I don't think so. If I had not been through this, the part apart from taking clients, of course, this great element would also not be there.
Yeah. ग्रेट सो आपने हमें ट्रेनर पर्सपेक्टिव से भी एक दिया कि एनएलपी किस तरह बेनिफिट कर सकती है एंड देन एज अ यंग लीडर्स यू कॉल इट यंग लीडर्स एंड आई टोटली बिलीव इन दैट क्योंकि वो फ्यूचर में यंग लीडर्स ही बनेंगे सो आपने उसका भी पर्सपेक्टिव बताया कि उसमें किस तरह एनएलपी बेनिफिशियल रहती है वन मोर थिंग आई वांट टू ऐड एंड आई वांट योर ओपिनियन ऑन दैट व्हाइल ट्रेनिंग सो यू डील विद अ लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंट पीपल आप ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हो तो एटलीस्ट एक ग्रुप के साथ आप ट्रेनिंग्स कर रहे होते हो। व्हाट्स द रोल ऑफ प्रेडिकेट सिस्टम? आप किस तरह प्रेडिकेट्स को डिटेक्ट कर सकते हो एंड किस तरह अपनी कम्युनिकेशन को उससे उसके उस पैटर्न्स अपने जो लैंग्वेज पैटर्न्स है उस तरह उसको बना सकते हो, तो उसकी थोड़ी सी इंपॉर्टेंस के बारे में बताएं।
Yeah, I think it's the trainings may, of course, it does help profoundly, but also in daily life. Okay, I think when you're working, I remember a very funny incident when I did my practitioner and we learned about predicates. I came back home asking, like, I was asking my mom a lot of questions. Now she was like, "What is happening today?" I was like, "Oh, you're a visual person," and she's like, "What?" Now, when she did practitioner, she then understood. Oh, that's what you meant by
Yeah.
all of this, right?
So it's like a rapport building with your audience,
So
especially.
yeah,
Yeah.
so when she was able, there was this conflict. I'll give you a very basic. I think I told in my practitioner the story the next day as well. When I went, like a lot of my debate would happen on कि यार ये like you know she would tell me like ये देखो किस तरह से पढ़ा हुआ है, ये देखो ये इस तरह से है. I was, I mean we, and I was like ये तो important नहीं है for me. I was a kinesthetic person,
Yeah.
still and more of a AD. But what happened, like, and then that day I realized that why does the conflict happen?
Yeah.
It's because we're speaking different predicates. She, for her, it is important to see. For me,
Yeah.
it's important to feel.
Feel. Yeah.
Or for me, it's important to make sense.
Exactly.
So that's how I think even in young leaders when we're talking about generally, I think when the conflict, because I work with adolescents also on with their mental health, and one thing that has been profoundly been evident is the communication gap that exists between parents and the adolescents. So I did, I think, a 2-year research on it with different schools and platforms. Um, इसमें एक ही चीज है ना, when I did my master practitioner I was able to understand कि there is a different communication style. Somebody is just talking literally और आप inferentially बोल रहे हो. Someone is
Yeah.
saying मुझे black and white साफ साफ बताओ और आप you're beating behind the bush. You're an inferential
Yeah.
person. There is a conflict that's bound to happen.
Then there and then rapport break हो जाती है. Rapport is the connection, the unconscious connection किसी के साथ वो break हो जाता है. Yeah, that's the beauty.
The rapport really increases when you're able to connect with people and they're like, oh wow, we are in sync. That happens because you're also able to understand where they're coming from also in terms of their predicates. Everybody's mental map is different.
Yeah.
And understanding that and respecting that is very crucial.
Very crucial, very important. Okay, so Anusha, आपने अपनी जर्नी बताई, अपनी स्टोरी एज अ स्टोरी फॉर्म में आपने बताया अपना पूरा जर्नी, किस तरह आपका प्रैक्टिशनर किस तरह अपग्रेड किया, देन मास्टर प्रैक्टिशनर, देन आपने अपना पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट का एस्पेक्ट बताया, प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट कैसे हुई, एज अ ट्रेनर आपको किस तरह हेल्प किया एनएलपी ने, एज अ स्टूडेंट के साथ जब आप काम करती हैं या यंग बच्चों के साथ काम करती हैं तो उनको किस तरह हेल्पफुल हो सकती है एनएलपी. सो नाउ what's the way forward for Anusha Somani? क्या आगे फ्यूचर में क्या प्लान्स हैं, क्या करना है, किस तरह चलना है, थोड़ा सा वो शेयर करें हमारे साथ.
Yeah, ये सवाल I asked myself and I put myself into existential crisis. So, yeah, in terms of long term, like I believe in the why that I do. Like I feel that there is always like leaving something meaningful behind for even if it's a person, that's really important. If you were able to, I don't want to create a dent in course. If it's like even one person or one community gets impacted, that's good enough for me. Because that's a ripple effect. So what in terms of very concrete steps, I look forward to, going in my work stuff. I look forward to, I have, we have youth inside, so I look forward to heavily investing my time and, working on that and taking that forward on a global platform. Then we have like of course my coaching. I do part-time coaching, so I take limited clients. But I would want to expand on it and be able to make sure that when clients they call, I am able to provide that 100% support that is required. So being there, able to facilitate those change, I think that would be that's my way forward. The career
Wow.
path ही का सवाल आ गया है, बिस्मिल्लाह।
That's amazing. लेकिन एक सवाल जो हर एक के दिमाग में अभी आपका ये जो 360 ट्रांस
yeah,
please.
actually go on. No, go on. Sorry.
So एक सवाल जो सबके दिमाग में आ रहा है और मेरे भी आ रहा है और आई होप कि जो भी हमारे ऑडियंस होंगे उसके भी आ रहा होगा, आपने अभी मेंशन किया कि यू टेक लिमिटेड अमाउंट ऑफ कोचिंग क्लाइंट्स, और क्योंकि आप इसको एज अ पार्ट टाइम कर रहे हो, बट अगर कोई आपसे इन टच होना चाहे, कोचिंग लेना चाहे, और वो कैसे आपके साथ इन टच होगा? क्या आपका कोई नंबर है, कहीं आपका कोई पेज है? सो वो भी हमें बताएं।
Yeah, so I go by, I handle my own Instagram and like Facebook page. So it goes by the name of Anusha Somani, which is right here flashing. Then there's also Anusha. I have Instagram page by Anusha Somani _ coaching. That's the official page. Then there's also like when you go on my Instagram page, you'll be able to see a link of calendar and you'll be able to book a 30-minute free breakthrough session with me, which is also sometimes proves very instrumental for others. So yeah, that's how it is. Maybe in future I'll have a website which I can navigate others to, but for now it is. And then we schedule basically a Zoom call or a WhatsApp call and we take it forward from there.
ग्रेट। सो इसी नोट पे मैं आपका बहुत ज्यादा शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहती हूँ। आई थैंक यू सो मच फॉर कमिंग हियर, शेयरिंग योर जर्नी। 360 जो जर्नी है, आपने हर चीज जो है हमें अच्छे से बताई, अपनी जर्नी हमारे साथ शेयर की, एंड वी आर रियली ग्लैड कि आपने अपना एक्सपीरियंस हमारे साथ शेयर किया, और बहुत ही अच्छी आप एक बहुत ही जो हमारी ऑडियंस देख रही है उसको आई होप हर चीज जो है बहुत अच्छे से समझ आई होगी। सो आई थैंक यू अ लॉट फॉर कमिंग हियर एंड शेयरिंग योर स्टोरी विद अस। एंड इसी के साथ आज का 360 ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन जर्नी अनुषा सोमानी के साथ हम लोग एंड कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इस नोट पे कि हम इंशाल्लाह और अपने ग्रेजुएट्स को भी लेकर आएंगे, उनकी भी जर्नी आपको बताएंगे, और जो ऑडियंस देख रही है वो अगर इस इंटरव्यू से या इस 360 ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन से कहीं उनके दिमाग में, दिल में ख्याल आता है कि हमें भी एम्पावरमेंट की जर्नी को ज्वाइन करना चाहिए, सो हमारी अपकमिंग ट्रेनिंग आ रही है 15 जून से, जो 10 दिन की हमारी NLP प्रैक्टिशनर की जर्नी रहेगी। यू कैन साइन अप, अभी एनरोलमेंट करें, और प्लीज इस अपने लिए और अपने प्रोफेशनली एंड पर्सनली अपनी डेवलपमेंट की जर्नी को स्टार्ट करें। सो ऑन दैट नोट, थैंक यू सो मच एंड टेक केयर ऑफ योरसेल्फ।
Thank you everyone. Thank you, Bismillah.
Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz everybody.